Splash here, coming at you today in Clash Royale with a very special first-time guest. Always looking for new and interesting guests out there, and today I think I've delivered in a big way. I'm so excited to be joined right now by Lord Yahya. Yahya, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm excited to have you on the channel. You're currently #1 in the entire world, and you've finished top 10 on multiple occasions at the end of the season, and I think most recently 12th. Is that correct?
Yeah, man. It's just been all about grinding and getting those good matchups, and yeah, I've been doing good recently.
Awesome, and we're going to talk about the deck that you're using to get those good matchups. It's the Splashyard, which is one of my favorite decks, also one of my viewers' favorite decks. But you do have an interesting backstory. You're actually my very first Pakistani guest that I've ever had on the channel, and I love my international audience, so it's really a pleasure to have somebody from who's not, from where everybody else is on the channel. I don't think I have too many Pakistani viewers, but right now you're in the States. Can you tell us a little bit about your backstory and when did you start playing Clash Royale?
So yeah, when I was in Pakistan about 2 years ago, and I used to play Clash Royale like not so frequently. I had a level 11, and I used to play like on the weekends, not much. But then I shifted to the United States, and I came to New York, and it's actually been really great having here. But I needed to find like a hobby, so started to play this game, and I just maxed my account out because I just got addicted to this game, and I started playing ladder, and I met this whole community. I was with Mega Stars, and I spent some time in Nova as well, and I just really liked this game, so I started to play it a lot, and I got a max account one day, and I started to dominate on the ladder, and I've been only using this one deck throughout like my history. It's been this bowler NATO deck, so I've been having great success with it.
Really interesting, and that's the deck that we're watching right now, guys. And we're gonna ask you all the tips that you have for that. But you're also a little bit of a controversial figure. I can't hide it. You in your Twitter profile, you proclaim to be the Lord of BM, Lord Yahya. You got some splaining to do, dude. I'm just joking, obviously, but I'm not joking. Tell us a little bit about BM, or bad manners, and using emotes to kind of antagonize your opponent. Obviously, you were a big fan of that for a while. I think that, a little birdie told me you're trying to clean up your image a little bit, but I want to get your honest stance about BMing, and if you think it does have a viable strategic place in the game.
Yeah, man. So this has been actually quite a controversial topic. A lot of people have told me to cut it out, man. You're a jerk. Stop it. So what I usually say is, I mean, it's just a game, and whether I get BM'd or you get BM'd, at the end of the day, it's a game. So we should just enjoy it. And like, if you like to BM, I think you should do it, because it's a game, and if you want to like show your emotions with the game, if you're like angry, if you're happy, then you should be able to do that. But I've been trying to cut down because some people have been taking it the wrong way, so yeah, I've been trying to cut down.
Yeah, I think that's a fair answer, to be honest with you, because I think that there's a lot of people like you who have that mentality that, listen, it's just a game, and sometimes I can take my opponent, I can play head games with my opponent too, and get them frustrated, take them off their game a little bit, and it's allowed in the game. Certainly the Clash Royale team is a fan of it. They've come out in support of the emotes a lot, and but at the same time, like you kind of touched on at the end there are so many players out there who do take it personally, so not everybody has that mentality. So if you BM somebody who's, not a big fan of it, then they might take it super personal. So there is like kind of two sides to every coin there.
Yeah, especially like if you're completely out countered, I wouldn't BM then, because then I just feel bad for the person. But if I'm playing like, say, a mirror matchup, then I would regularly BM, because like I'd show them that, oh, I'm better. So yeah, but if it's a counter, I wouldn't do that. Yeah.
Okay, so moving on from the BM stuff, because I had to ask. Tell us about, you said you kind of realized pretty early on that you were a good player and you maxed out your account and stuff like that. Now, did you get a sponsored account as well, or how did that all work out for you? Like, what led to, yeah, go ahead.
No, I didn't have a sponsored account. I actually come from a wealthy family. So my dad, he found out that, he just shifted to the United States. It's been a big transition. So he said that if you want to spend some money to max your account out, I don't mind that. So he gave me a few $1,000s, and I maxed my account out. And ever since then, I've just been playing this game constantly, like every single day.
Wow. Well, lucky guy, man. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be jealous out there, but congratulations either way. What do you love about the game so much?
It's just the ladder at the last few days of ladder. It's an amazing environment. I love playing competitive ladder. I don't play any tournaments. It's just I really enjoy ladder, coming in top 10, coming in 5, and then talking to other players and asking them how they did, and like all the top ladder activities. I really enjoy those.
Yeah, and speaking of top ladder activities, you are the leader of 50 Kings PK. Is that correct?
Yeah, I've been a really great role model for the Pakistan community. They really look up to me. I have 4 feeder clans. Our family consists of like 200 people, so it's a big clan.
Wow. Now does the 50 Kings family, do they all kind of work under one umbrella like leadership, or is it kind of just factioned off and kind of loosely tied together?
Yeah, we all under one leader, and usually everyone from their respective clans, they come to the main clan at the end of the season, and we try to beat Nova. And it's sort of this competition between 50 Kings and Nova, which is what I really love, and which is why I play the game. It's because of the competition between the top 2 clans. I really enjoy that.
Tell us a little bit about what do you know about Arab Union and where do they fit in? I know they're really close with 50 Kings. Are they the same in some way, or what's the differences between Arab Union and 50 Kings?
So what originally happened was Arab Union, they have like this massive hate for Nova. So anything they can do to decrown Nova from the first place, they would just so they partnered up with us and said, hey, why don't we work together and try to beat Nova at the end of the season? So that's how that went down, and it's been working out great. We came at the top of the leaderboards last season with 64,000 clan trophies.
Yeah, so how do you feel about this rivalry? This is kind of good. I didn't intend for this video to be all about the the high-end rivalry, but I don't know. I guess maybe it's a little salacious, but I kind of like it. I don't know. So do you hate Nova?
I don't hate Nova. I don't hate any clan, but some players in Nova, they really sort of piss me off. So I kind of go out of control with the BM versus Nova. But I have respect for Nova, man. They've been a great clan, and it's just I love the competitive ladder. Nova versus 50 Kings. It's always what's been driving me to play ladder. So yeah.
Yeah, I can respect that. I like rivalries, and I think it's actually good for the game, even though it is a little dramatic at times. But personally, from afar, I never try to wade into the drama myself. But from afar, I do kind of, I don't know. It's kind of like the car wreck type thing where you kind of glance over and like, what are those guys doing over there, But certainly everybody that I've encountered from Nova, anybody that I've had on my channel from Nova has been an amazing person and amazing to have on. And same thing with my experience from anybody who I've contacted or really interviewed from 50 Kings or Arab Union or anybody who I've just dealt with. So I've been lucky in that regard that I've seen the best of what you guys have to offer. So let's kind of get to the tips a little bit here. Tell us about the deck, the Splashyard deck. You said you've been playing it for a long time. So I guess my first question to you is going to be, how long do you think the average player should be playing a deck, specifically this deck, before they should be comfortable enough to actually see if they like it or not? Like, how long should you give a deck a try before you realize, okay, it's not just me sucking, the deck sucks?
Yeah, so I'm glad you brought this up. First of all, here's a little disclosure. You should normally not be able to play this deck in grand challenges, because the whole essence of this deck is when you get hard countered, you just go for the tie. If you're facing 3 Musk player, you play those 4 minutes and you go for the tie. If you're in grand challenge, it's not gonna work out. Usually you'll get outplayed by the 5th minute. But in ladder, it's pretty easy to tie a hard counter.
But I'm not sure if you even know this, but didn't JuicyJ use this deck to come in second in the Reddit championship?
I suppose it could work, but I wouldn't recommend it as a daily thing for grand challenges. I mean, I've certainly tried it, and I've had a lot of failure with the long matches. But Certainly with the ladder matches, it's been quite easy.
Okay, so what about the question? How many matches? How long would you play the deck before you're comfortable with it?
I think I would play maybe 10 to 15 matches a day and see where you land on that. And if you're winning, if you can win, then it's not your playing style, then you should definitely pick another deck. But I think you should play around 10 to 15 matches a day.
Okay, so like basically for a week or so maybe, and try to get a feel for the deck and and how much
Yeah.
you. Okay, that makes sense. Now, okay, tell us a little bit about how the deck works, offensively and defensively. I guess is it more an offensive deck or a defensive deck? Would you say?
It depends on the deck. If you're facing Hog Cycle and Minor Chip, my 2.9 Minor Chip, you want to get that win right away because they don't have anything to defend your graveyard. They don't have minions. They don't have Goblin Gang. So you want to really, really out pressure them. But if you're playing versus a really different type of deck, like let's say Log Bait or Hog Bait or Lava Hound, then you want to go on defense and then play the offense. So it's basically, yeah, depends on the deck.
Okay, so walk us through maybe a typical match, a starting hand. How are you generally playing your matches at the start of a match? Are you passive? Do you react, or do you ever go aggressive right out the bat?
No, I just wait. I usually, unless I know the player and I know he's playing a Hog Rider, and then I go for the win because I want to win. I don't want to waste that match. But if I don't know the deck, I just sit back, I relax, wait for their move, and if they don't want to play anything, then I just let it go.
Okay, so what would be your most common? What would be your ideal starting plays?
I think your first option should be cycling one Elixir Skeletons and then playing Mega Minion in the back. And then if you don't have Mega Minion, you should play Knight. And if you don't have Knight as well, then you should just wait because playing Bowler is pretty risky in the beginning. You shouldn't do that.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point because I was going to ask that specifically about the bowler, if that's a good starting play. Okay, so once you're into the match, once you've identified what the opponent has in their deck, when are you generally starting to get your big first offensive graveyard push? And is it generally, do you like to do it only after like a successful defense using the bowler or the baby dragon, or how do you kind of go about your very first push?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. It's actually a good question because when I know that, oh, he's got a Goblin Gang to defend my graveyard, then I'm going to save up that 3 Elixir for the Tornado. And when I have that 3 Elixir for the Tornado, then I'm going to play my graveyard because I need to plan out exactly which cards he has. And when I know that I have him completely countered, then I play the graveyard. Because you don't want to play the graveyard without knowing what card he has next. Because if you play an open-handed graveyard, he's going to counter it with something like Goblin Gang, and then you're going to be stuck on defense.
Okay. So a good example would be when you have like if you know he has that Goblin Gang. Or let me ask you this: how many times are you using the Tornado on offense with this deck? Or how often?
Whenever it's like match ending, and you can just take his tower down, then use the Tornado. Usually, you want to save the Tornado for defense because it's ultimately the best defensive card. I don't know, maybe some people would disagree, but it's a really good defensive card. So you want to save that for defense, but if you have the chance to take the tower out, I'd say you use it.
Okay, yeah, that's something that I struggle with. Is basically the Tornado. Like I've got it nailed. I've got it down 100% on defense. But then, like, in offensive situations, I'm never sure exactly when I should be using it and where I should be using it. Like, if I should be pulling the troops right into the front of the crown tower, that way my splash damage will target it and hopefully the tower, or if I should be pulling it, like, away from, I'm not sure exactly. Should I be using it after my troops have all crossed the bridge, or should I be using it right on, like, when you're going to combo it with Graveyard, are you using it right on their tower, or, how are you doing that?
So exactly, you want to time this perfectly. Whenever just 2 seconds before your tower takes aggro on, say, the baby dragon or the knight, you want to place your graveyard and then just predict the tornado and move the tornado towards your knight. So you want to direct the troops inside the graveyard towards your knight so that the knight or the baby dragon can take the troops out.
Okay. That makes perfect sense. So defensively, obviously, you are, of course, relying on the Tornado in a big way. It's the best defensive card, and I actually agree with you there. I think that Tornado is crazy right now in the game. It's so strong. So are you trying to activate your King Tower early on, you know, versus Miner or Goblin Gang or, not Goblin, Goblin Barrel or Hog Rider?
Yeah, definitely. If it's Hog Rider and Miner, you wanna get that tower on right away because it's gonna help you out throughout the game. But if it's something like Giant, I wouldn't recommend trying to bring the Giant to the tower. It'd be a risky move. So I think you should play it safe if it's against a Giant or a Golem. And yeah.
Okay. That's a good question. That's a good point because it's something that I've actually never really talked about before. So why don't you advocate activating King Tower with a Golem or a Giant? And do you believe that's not a good move to pull with any Tornado deck or just this Tornado deck?
No, I would say you should never do that because, first of all, a lot of things could go wrong. Sometimes the Giant just won't listen to you, and you said, no, you know, I'm gonna take this tower.
Yeah.
And you could lose your tower, and especially with this deck, if your tower is gone, then it's pretty bad because this deck relies a lot on defense. So I wouldn't let anyone take your tower. You shouldn't be trading towers at any situation, and it's a really bad idea to pull a heavy tank to your main tower. It's not good.
Okay, and that's so the fact that you're not willing to take too much tower damage with this deck tells me that it's a 1-0 deck most of the time, or a tie, like you kind of mentioned in the beginning. Is that correct?
Yeah, 1-0 or tie, because you really don't want to risk getting your tower damage because essentially this deck doesn't have a straight on go like Hog Rider or Giant or Golem. It's like you have to plan it out. You have to get the graveyard down, and if you don't have a straight attack, so you can't do anything with that. So that's why you shouldn't let anyone take your tower.
Okay, and along those same lines, you know, with a lot of decks, especially one that's this expensive, not that it's incredibly expensive, but, you know, I think with well, I don't know, I guess expensive really doesn't have anything to do with it, but with a lot of decks, you're okay taking a little bit of damage if that will convert into a big offensive push. Now, because you don't want to lose a tower at all playing this deck, do you think that the philosophy is different? Do you not want to do you want to over defend or defend like really precisely throughout the entire match? Or are you okay taking some damage if you're not going to trade towers, but if you can really convert onto a really big punishing push on the other side?
So yeah, that's a good question. And a perfect example would be like if someone throws a goblin barrel and you don't have the bowler or tornado in hand, then you're gonna take some damage, obviously. And what I would recommend is just play the 1 elixir skeletons and like minimize the damage. And instead of playing something like baby dragon for the goblin barrel, you won't want to do that. Just take some of the damage from the goblin barrel and play something like a 1 elixir skeleton, and then just go focus on your offense.
Okay, what do you think is the most difficult matchup for this deck, and how do you win against it?
I'd say 3 Musk Battle Ramp, because it gets to a point where you're so much down on elixir and he has like 5 pumps on and he's just spamming those 3 muskies like over and over again, and you just keep losing track of which side he's gonna go on.
Yeah.
So I'd say if you want to beat that deck, what you should do is in the beginning of the match when he pumps up, you should quickly try to take his tower and then just go full defensive mode, and that's possible. I've done that before.
Okay, so you would play, if he pumped up in the beginning, you would have no problem going boom, bowler, graveyard, right at the bridge.
Because I know his deck. If he pumps up and I know that he's playing 3 muskies, I'd go right at the bridge with baby dragon and graveyard and a tornado ready for his goblin gang.
Okay, are there any other circumstances where you're gonna go super aggressive right at the bridge? Against any other deck or anything like that?
I would say no, not really, unless he has a minor deck. Unless he plays a minor and then he has that 2.9 minor deck. You just want to quickly take his tower out because that deck really doesn't have any good defenses versus your graveyard. It's just he has to play the poison or he has to play the knight in between, which is really not very effective. So I would say versus Hog Rider cycle and minor cycle and 3 Musk Battle Ram, you can go offensive.
Okay, and last question, because you know the deck defensively really kind of plays itself. You know what to play. I mean, you have tornado, you have baby dragon, you have bowler, you have a lot of you have skeletons. Tell us about, why don't you just walk us through an imaginary perfect world scenario on a push, on a push where you're going to take out the tower.
Okay, so you have your knight and you have a baby dragon supporting your knight, and you place the graveyard. If I would say that would be GG, because you have
One sec though. Rewind a little bit. How did you get your knight and your baby dragon? Did you use them on defense or something, or did you drop the knight like behind your king tower?
I would drop the knight before behind my king tower and wait to see if he does anything. And if he's down on elixir, I'd play that baby dragon and graveyard, because at that point I know that I'm above him on elixir. So I would rush with the baby dragon and graveyard, as long as I know that I have the knight tanking the tower, because at that point the baby dragon will take care of any of his small troops, and the knight is really going to tank the tower. So that would be a perfect scenario.
Okay, so knight, baby dragon, graveyard.
Yeah.
Boom. And then poison or tornado if you needed it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Yahya, you've been a great guest, man. I think you've brought a lot to the table, and really enjoyed it, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me on the channel, man. It's been an honor.
No problem, dude. Thank you. Thanks again. We'll have to get you back. Hopefully, you'll finish top 10, maybe even top 5 this season. Is that pretty much your goal every season?
Yeah, I'm trying to get better every season I go, and hopefully I'm aiming for top 3, top 1, and
okay.
Those.
Lofty goals, man. I like it. I like it. Any shout outs or anything like that before we let you go?
I just say follow my Twitter at Lord Yahya CR, and I have a friend of mine who's been teaching me this deck, and he's been really supportive. So I just want to shout him out too. His Twitter is the God RF. So yeah.
Okay, awesome. Well, shout out to the God RF. Is it?
Yeah, RF.
Okay. Shout out to the God RF, and of course you can find Yahya's Twitter information in the description below. Yahya, thank you so much, and thank you so much to my YouTube partner Bren Chong. You can find his information also in the description below. Guys, thanks so much for watching, and as always, take care, guys.